The Sala grove was tranquil, its trees swaying softly under the morning sun. Birds sang melodiously, welcoming the new day. Disciples gathered around the Buddha, seeking wisdom and solace in his words. Among them was Suddha, a merchant troubled by his temperament. He bowed deeply, his voice trembling with vulnerability. "Blessed One," he began, "why do I become defensive when criticized by others?" The Buddha regarded him with serene compassion, his gaze steady yet gentle. "Suddha," he began, "defensiveness arises from the illusion of self, which clings to praise and shuns truth." The disciples listened intently as the Buddha continued. "This illusion, born of attachment, perceives truth as a threat to its fragile existence." Suddha's brow furrowed as he pondered the Buddha's words. "But Master," he asked, "how can truth, which is pure, threaten the self?" The Buddha gestured to a pond nearby, its surface shimmering in the sunlight. "Suddha," he said, "observe this pond. When disturbed, its waters ripple and distort the reflection of the sky." The disciples turned their eyes to the pond, mesmerized by its gentle movements. "The mind," the Buddha explained, "is like this pond. Criticism stirs it, creating ripples that obscure clarity." Suddha nodded, understanding dawning upon his face. "And defensiveness, Master? What role does it play?" The Buddha smiled slightly, his voice calm. "Defensiveness, Suddha, is the ripple itself, a reaction born of fear to protect the illusion of self." He paused, letting the words settle among his disciples. To understand this, the Buddha continued, "I will tell you a story from the past." The disciples leaned in, eager to absorb the lesson wrapped in the tale. In a distant village, the Buddha began, there lived a weaver known for crafting intricate patterns in her fabrics. She took great pride in her work, basking in the admiration of her village. He recounted, "One day, a traveler observed her weaving and said, 'Your work is fine, but the threads are uneven.'" The disciples murmured softly, imagining the scene painted by the Buddha's words. The weaver bristled, her pride wounded by the traveler's words. The Buddha continued, "She responded with anger, declaring her threads flawless." Ananda whispered to himself, "Indeed, the Blessed One has shown us the profound power of chanting." The Buddha smiled again, his gaze sweeping across the disciples, his words echoing the rhythm of the cosmos. "But," the Buddha added, his tone steady, "the truth lingered like a shadow, unnoticed but present." The grove was silent, save for the gentle rustling of leaves in the breeze. The weaver's denial, the Buddha explained, was a shield crafted by her ego to ward off perceived harm. Suddha lowered his gaze, his heart heavy with recognition. "Master," he said softly, "how can one see through the illusion that shields the self?" The Buddha's voice remained serene as he replied, "Through mindfulness, Suddha, which acts as a lamp to illuminate the unseen corners of the mind." Just as light dispels darkness, the Buddha continued, mindfulness reveals the origins of defensiveness, helping one embrace the truth. The disciples absorbed the profound teaching, their hearts stirred by the clarity of the Buddha's words. "But," Suddha asked hesitantly, "does not the truth wound the self?" The Buddha smiled gently, his expression calm and compassionate. "The truth, Suddha, does not wound, it heals. It is the ego that misinterprets truth as harm." He paused, allowing his words to permeate the air like the fragrance of blooming flowers. "To heal," the Buddha explained, "one must dismantle the shield of ego and welcome the truth." He gestured to a tree, its roots deeply embedded in the earth. "Consider this tree," the Buddha said. "Its roots seek nourishment, piercing the soil without resistance." The disciples gazed at the tree, appreciating its silent strength. "The mind, too," the Buddha continued, "must seek truth with openness, not defensiveness." Suddha raised his head, his eyes filled with gratitude and understanding. "Blessed One," he said, "your words are like rain, softening the soil of my heart." The Buddha's smile deepened, his presence radiant with compassion and wisdom. "Suddha," he replied, "truth, when embraced, nourishes the spirit as rain nourishes the earth." The grove was silent once more, the disciples meditating on the lesson imparted by the Buddha. Birds perched on branches, as though listening to the teachings with unwavering attention. Defensiveness, the Buddha concluded, is a shadow cast by the self. Yet even shadows dissolve under the light of awareness. Suddha bowed deeply, his heart lighter than it had been in years. The disciples followed suit, their spirits uplifted by the Buddha's teachings. The morning sun shone brighter, illuminating the Sala grove and all within it. The Buddha, serene as ever, rested beneath the tree, his presence a beacon of peace. And so, the lesson of ego and truth unfolded under the canopy of the Sala grove. Another day dawned over the Sala grove, its tranquility embraced by the gentle rustle of leaves and melodic birdsong. Disciples gathered again, each seeking enlightenment through the Buddha's profound teachings. Among them was Suddha, his heart lighter yet yearning for greater understanding. He bowed respectfully before the Buddha, his voice filled with sincerity. "Blessed One," he began, "I grasp why defensiveness arises. How can I disarm it and transform my reactions?" The Buddha's gaze softened as he regarded Suddha with infinite compassion. "Suddha," he said, "the answer lies in the cultivation of self-awareness." The disciples exchanged curious glances, eager to learn the path to mastering their minds. The Buddha gestured to a nearby flower, its petals glistening with dew. "Observe this flower, Suddha," he said. "It does not resist the rain but accepts it without hesitation." Suddha followed the Buddha's gaze, his eyes resting on the delicate bloom. "Self-awareness," the Buddha explained, "is akin to the flower's openness, revealing the root of defensiveness and pausing before reaction." The disciples nodded, absorbing the depth of the Buddha's analogy. "But, Master," Suddha asked hesitantly, "how does one nurture self-awareness in daily life?" The Buddha shared a tale from his wandering days. "In the ancient city of Rajagaya," he began, "there lived a wise goldsmith, known for his precision in crafting jewelry." The disciples leaned in, captivated by the Buddha's storytelling. One day, the Buddha continued, the goldsmith prepared to create a ring for the king. He inspected his tools meticulously, ensuring that each was flawless before beginning the work. The Buddha recounted, as he polished the gold, his focus remained unwavering, observing each detail with care. The disciples pictured the goldsmith's diligence, understanding the metaphor woven into the tale. Just as the goldsmith examined his tools, the Buddha explained, "You must examine your mind through mindfulness and introspection." Suddha's gaze brightened, his spirit lifted by the clarity of the Buddha's teaching. "Mindfulness, Master," Suddha said, "how does it reveal the roots of defensiveness?" The Buddha's voice remained steady, yet filled with warmth. "Mindfulness acts as a mirror, reflecting the true nature of one's thoughts and emotions without distortion." He gestured to a pond nearby, its surface calm and undisturbed. "Consider this pond," the Buddha said. "When its waters are still, it reflects the sky with clarity." Similarly, the Buddha continued, "A mindful mind remains calm, allowing you to see the origins of your defensiveness with clarity." The disciples nodded, their hearts resonating with the wisdom imparted by the Buddha. "But, Master," Suddha asked hesitantly, "does not self-awareness make one vulnerable to pain?" The Buddha's gaze held infinite kindness as he replied, "Self-awareness does not invite pain. It transforms it into a teacher that guides you toward growth." He gestured to a tree, its branches reaching toward the heavens. "Observe this tree, Suddha. It stands tall, embracing both sunlight and rain. The tree, the Buddha explained, does not resist the elements but grows stronger through them, as self-awareness strengthens the spirit. Suddha bowed deeply, his heart filled with gratitude and newfound resolve. Blessed One, he said, your words illuminate the path like the sun upon this grove. The disciples meditated upon the Buddha's teachings, their spirits uplifted by the clarity and depth of his wisdom. Birds sang softly, their melodies blending harmoniously with the rustle of leaves. To disarm defensiveness, the Buddha concluded, you must first pause and observe your mind as the goldsmith examines his tools. Suddha raised his head, his eyes glistening with understanding. Blessed One, he said, I will nurture self-awareness and observe my thoughts like the calm reflection of the pond. The Buddha's smile deepened, his presence radiant with peace. Suddha, he replied, truth emerges when the mind is still and open. The grove fell silent once more, its serenity undisturbed as the disciples reflected upon the Buddha's teachings. A gentle breeze carried the fragrance of blooming flowers, filling the air with peace and harmony. And so, the lesson of mindfulness and self-awareness unfolded under the canopy of the Sala grove. Another day emerged in the Sala grove, with golden sunlight filtering through the branches and casting a serene glow. Disciples gathered once more, their faces reflecting eager anticipation for the Buddha's timeless teachings. Among them was Suddha, his heart now prepared for the final lesson. He bowed deeply before the Buddha, his voice humble yet resolute. Blessed One, he began, how can I transcend defensiveness completely? The Buddha regarded him with kindness, his presence as steady as the ancient tree under which he rested. Suddha, he said, the path to transcendence lies in humility, the relinquishing of self-importance. The disciples sat in silent reverence, absorbing the depth of the Buddha's words. The Buddha gestured toward the horizon, where distant mountains stood unwavering against the sky. Observe the mountains, he said. They endure the wind and rain without complaint, their strength rooted in their stillness. Humility, the Buddha continued, is the mountain's stillness, a state of accepting flaws and truths without resistance or ego. Suddha nodded, his eyes reflecting understanding. Master, he asked, how can one cultivate such humility in the face of life's challenges? The Buddha shared a tale from his travels, his voice steady and soothing. In the kingdom of Kosala, he began, there was a farmer known for his skill in tending crops. The disciples listened intently, captivated by the story unfolding. One year, the Buddha continued, a great storm came, destroying much of the farmer's harvest. Disheartened, the farmer wept and lamented his misfortune. The Buddha said, his tone filled with compassion. Yet, amidst his sorrow, a passerby offered kind words, saying, even broken fields may yield new growth. The disciples exchanged thoughtful glances, sensing the deeper meaning of the tale. The farmer, humbled by the passerby's words, began to replant his fields with patience and care. The Buddha explained, through his humility, he learned to accept the impermanence of his harvest and adapt without bitterness. Suddha's gaze brightened as the story resonated with his own struggles. Blessed One, he said, does humility not make one vulnerable to the judgments of others? The Buddha smiled gently, his expression serene. Suddha, he replied, humility does not weaken you. It fortifies the spirit by dissolving the need for others' approval. He gestured to a bird perched on a nearby branch, its feathers ruffled by the breeze. Observe this bird, the Buddha said. It does not seek applause for its song but sings with untroubled freedom. The disciples turned their eyes to the bird, inspired by its tranquil presence. The mind, when free from ego, becomes like the bird, unburdened by the weight of others' opinions. The Buddha explained. Suddha bowed, his heart swelling with gratitude and understanding. Master, he said, How does humility lead to the liberation of the spirit? The Buddha's gaze held infinite wisdom as he spoke. Humility, Suddha, dissolves the illusion of separation, uniting you with the greater truth of interconnectedness. He gestured to the forest, its trees standing tall in harmonious silence. Consider these trees, the Buddha said. They do not compete for the sky but grow together, sharing the earth's nourishment. Just as the trees coexist, the Buddha continued, so must you embrace humility, recognizing your oneness with all beings. The disciples meditated on the profound truth woven into the Buddha's words, their hearts stirred by clarity. Humility, the Buddha concluded, is the key to liberation, for it frees you from the confines of self. Suddha raised his head, his eyes glistening with realization. Blessed One, he said, your teachings have unveiled the path I sought. I will embrace humility wholeheartedly. The Buddha's smile deepened, his presence radiant with compassion. Suddha, he replied, humility is the blossom that adorns the tree of wisdom. The Sala grove fell silent as the disciples reflected upon the Buddha's final teaching. The air carried the fragrance of blooming flowers, as though nature itself celebrated the lesson. And so, the journey of Suddha and the disciples reached its profound conclusion under the canopy of the Sala grove. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.